We have an update. We have a tornado warning that was just issued. You can see it right now. It's for McCreary County, Pulaski County, and Wayne County. Now, this is set to expire at noon. Time now is 11:18. So we still have a while on this system as it goes through the next couple of minutes, and we'll continue to track this system. Now, this is as we're traveling more towards the south portions of our area. I'll go ahead and give a zoom out as you're looking at our region, what you can expect. We're still seeing a little bit of heavy rain as you're heading more towards Jackson, but the system we're tracking has been coming from Tennessee counties. We've been seeing a couple more tornadoes that have been popping up in Tennessee, and that one was towards our south but moved into our area not too long ago, which is why we're tracking it. You also see part of the tornado warning that is in effect for Clinton County, which is just outside of our area, but this one was just issued. Again, we're going to continue to watch this one as it is traveling near through Monticello. So here's a look at what you're dealing with right now. Again, McCreary County, Pulaski County, and Wayne County is what those counties that this tornado warning is in effect for. Now I'll go ahead and zoom in on this just a little bit more so you can see some of those cities that are also affected by this tornado warning as you're heading towards Mill Springs, also under this tornado warning, going towards Gregory, Coppersville, and right down behind me as you're traveling just towards the center of that system, Zula. So you can see that area right there. As that radar scans over it, you'll see right there that area highlight. Those are some really high values that we're looking for, that heavy rainfall, but also having that chance for that tornado. So we'll go ahead and look at it right now on velocity. So these are the wind speeds, right? This is how we're able to determine where a possible tornado could be radar indicated. So that's what we're looking at right now. You can kind of see what we're calling a velocity couplet. That's how we identify where this could be located on the radar. That's the inbound winds and the outbound winds, and that's how we as meteorologists kind of figure out how it's rotating. There's a look at that system right there. Now, one thing we're mentioning earlier in our live coverage of the tornadoes is that we are kind of in a dead spot when it comes to the southwestern portion of the WYMT viewing area. And you'll kind of notice as I switch through a couple of locations, we have a switch of those radars. So I want to mention as well, this purple is not crazy fast winds. That's just the farthest that the Louisville radar goes, and it kind of makes a line right there, and that's what we're looking at, and that's why when I'm shifting over, you're seeing the difference in between the three different radars, the Louisville, the Morristown, Nashville, and then also Jackson, National Weather Service as well. So that's what we're tracking right now. You can kind of see that it does make it a little bit difficult with the locations of these radars to identify what exactly is going on for this region. So that's why it's kind of hard to keep an eye on it. But what we're really looking for is areas that look like we have that red and the green next to it for that Louisville radar. You're kind of seeing some red and green potentially right there on that border. So that's what we're trying to track as we're going through the next couple of minutes. But the main thing I want you to be aware of if you're in this area is you just need to make sure you're staying protected right now. Make sure you're in your places, the most center portion of your home. We're talking closets, bathrooms. If you have basements, that's the best option for you as we're going through this tornado warning. And make sure you're protecting your head. I know we're talking about this a little bit earlier in the day when we had some of our Facebook Lives and also some of our coverage wall to wall. Protect your head. I know kids, when you do your warnings at home, your tornado warnings at school, you're told to get as low as you can, cover your head with your hands. That's because part of that is your arms can heal a lot faster than your head. So we're wanting you to protect your head in whatever way you can do, whether or not that means going into a bathroom, on a bathtub, and then covering your head with a pillow. Do whatever you can do to keep yourself safe, the most center portion of your home and away from windows. Again, I'll go ahead and just zoom out so you can see kind of where we're located. This is Wayne County is where most of this tornado is. Wayne County, Kentucky, not Wayne County, West Virginia. This is our Kentucky Wayne County as you're traveling more towards the southern portions of our region. This also is extending into parts of Pulaski County as well as McCreary County. That's where we're tracking the system. It started just outside in Clinton. That's outside of our coverage region, and it's continued to move into our area as we've gone through the next couple of minutes. So again, this was issued a while ago, and we're tracking this now as we're going to continue to go through the next couple of minutes. Here's a better look at what we're dealing with in terms of rainfall and also lightning, as lightning is a pretty big determinant of what you are seeing in the area. So again, tornado warning, McCreary County, Pulaski County, and Wayne County. This will be for 20,000 people, 494, and we're tracking that again until noon today. This is a radar indicated tornado warning. That's what we're tracking this morning. Again, we have one right behind it, but that's for Clinton County right outside of our area. But that is what is tracking into our region. That's what we're watching in this system right here as we're looking very close on this area. If you're anywhere here or recognize any of those roads, you need to make sure that you are taking cover. We're talking roads around Zula. So you have Highway 1008. We also have the Sheer Ramsey Branch Road. If you're near Ramsey Island, if you recognize the Shearer Valley Church of Christ, these are locations that you need to make sure you're being protected and prepared for the severe weather. Again, here's a look at what we're dealing with over the next couple of minutes. Again, this is set to expire at noon, so in just a couple of minutes, 40 minutes from now, a little bit less than that, we're going to continue to see that track through the next couple of minutes. Again, we're seeing that we have some lightning in effect as well as we're going into the next couple of minutes. That's what we're tracking. And then again, we are watching this entire system move through. We have that heavy rainfall. We're seeing fast wind speeds. I mean, this is traveling quite fast. And as we go into the, we'll go ahead and look and see how fast it's going so we can put that track on there so you can know where it's heading and where we're going to see it moving over the next couple of minutes. I'll go ahead and go to the main computer to get more information on this system itself and see if I can kind of identify where we're moving with that. I'll zoom out as well so you can get a better picture of where we're locating. This is the southwest portion of our region. We're looking at McCreary as well as Pulaski and Wayne County. Most of the area is in Wayne County at this point. So this is moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So I'll go ahead and get that cone out and put that in there for us so we can kind of figure out where it's going to be going. So I mentioned 45 miles an hour northeast. So let's place that down from the center of the area up. I'll actually switch to the velocity so we can see that center region that we're talking about. That helps us kind of picture where that storm is. You can kind of see the start of some rotation there, and that's what we're looking at to see where that storm is placed. So let's go ahead and go through the next couple minutes. Again, this advisory is set to expire at noon. So I will go until that noon time frame and kind of also talk about how it could be moving if it goes past that time frame. Right now, it's expected to be towards Susie at 11:27. By the time you get to 11:36, we'll see it towards Monticello. Monticello has seen many systems moving over and over the past couple hours. This entire area has kind of been hit. So you guys need to be prepared because there could be some things on the road. If you are out and about, that could be picked up by the system. So it's important for you to stay inside, stay protected as we're going through this system and seeing how it moves over the next couple of minutes. By the time you get to 11:45, Mill Springs, we'll see the center of the system moving towards it. Then 11:49, Denny. And then by the time we're getting to Quinton, 11:55. Now, again, this is set to expire at noon, but at 11:59, right before it's set to expire, should be by Burnside. Now, what you need to know as the system continues to move even past that is that it will be on the way to Poplarville and Mount Victory. But again, it is set to expire before it gets to those cities. So we will track to see how it moves. We're going to see if those wind speeds kind of fall apart as we're going through the next couple minutes, see if that is set to expire as we're going through the next couple hours. That's what we're keeping our eye on because that is the most critical piece of information, is how that system either strengthens or weakens as we continue through the next couple hours. As of right now, we'll go through the last couple of scans, see if we can see what we've been dealing with over the past couple of minutes. Again, taking it slow over the past couple of minutes. First, we'll start off that way. Let's see, past 15 minutes, just to see how it's kind of moved. So in the past 15 minutes, you can kind of see it's moved somewhat slow. Again, this is 45 miles an hour compared to the ones we were seeing this morning where we saw 70, 65, 60, and then our slowest of the morning was 55, and this one is moving at 45 miles an hour. So a little bit slower than we have been seeing, but still quite fast. I mean, picture yourself moving in a car at 45 miles an hour. That's about how fast this system is moving, and we'll continue to watch as it goes through the next couple of minutes. I'll go ahead and not only do 15 minutes, but 30 minutes. Again, kind of a slow moving storm. You can see as it's moved over the past 30 minutes. Now, it does look like the core at the start of this system was a little bit stronger than it is, so that's a good sign in terms of what we're seeing on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Now, in terms of velocity, let's go ahead and check that out and see if that's maybe been the same trend as well over the past 30 minutes. Over the past 30 minutes, let's see. We'll play it once. Yes, it does look like it is falling apart a little bit. If you can see at the very beginning of that loop, I'll go ahead and take it back to the beginning, and we'll go through this a little bit slower. So when it began, could we get the QR code to go away so we can see it a little bit better, please? But when we began, it was more towards the corner of the screen, and then it will continue to push through. Actually, I'll just move this up just a little bit for us. Okay, so you can kind of see right here. That's what we were talking about. We're starting to see that little bit of turning in it. That was when it was outside of a region in Clinton. Now, let's remove those warnings so you don't get confused. This was about 30 minutes ago. That's when we started to see that storm form. And as we continued through the next couple of minutes, and again, I'll take it slow as we're going through this. As we continued through the next couple of minutes, you kind of watch as it kind of continues to move scan by scan forward. And by the time it kind of got to our area, we kind of lost a little bit of that shape, still seeing some rotation in the system, but not having the same shape as it was. Now, by the time we get into Monticello, still seeing, again, a little bit of that rotation, but because of where we're located on the radars, it does make it a little difficult. Again, as I was talking to you about earlier, we have the 4 different radars that kind of make it difficult to see in this portion of eastern Kentucky. So that's what we're watching there, and we'll continue to move through. And it kind of dissolves a little bit. So we're watching that this morning. Looks like it does dissolve at the end, but we are still obviously watching that system as we're going through the next couple of minutes because it's still tornado warned, still giving those really strong winds. And it's a little bit difficult to see what's going on with the winds, I know, but it's because we do have so many of those radars around us that do make us a little bit difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into the radar and kind of show you what's going on in terms of the amount of rain that we're expecting with this system. Again, we're looking at the southwest portion of our area. So we're looking towards Wayne County. We're looking towards Pulaski County and also McCreary County. These are counties that have seen it for a while. And it does look like they're giving an update to it. Just flashed a little bit just then. So let's see if there was an update. Doesn't look like there was an update. I think it just flashed. I think they might have just shifted where they were looking at it. But yeah, still looking at this warning right here, still set to expire as you're heading into noon. Again, still tracking the system. Looks like they did shorten it a little bit, and then the one behind it did go away. So the one that was in Clinton County and then just the edge of our Wayne County has gone away. We're just looking at this one still. It's the only warned system in our area. And I'll go ahead and just zoom out again so you can see the entire region. And as we look even into portions of Tennessee, we're having that clearing as you're going more towards the southwest. It's not as strong as we've been seeing it. Really just the strongest core in the area is right as you're moving into our region towards that Wayne County area. And that's what we're watching because that's where we see not only the strongest rain, but also we have, lightning associated with this system. I mean, we're still looking at some really warm temperatures in the area too, which is still fueling the system as we're going through the next couple minutes. And of course, we're definitely looking at those fast wind speeds as that is one of the main components with what we're watching on this system. Now, I'm going to go ahead and check to see if there's been any reports sent in by the National Weather Service for me to relay to you. But all in all, I know I was looking at this earlier again. If you're joining us now, the system's moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. They had the most recent update at 11:30. That's when we saw that flash just a second ago. And it's in effect still until noon for central Wayne County, southwestern Pulaski, and north central McCreary counties. Now, it is capable of producing, and that is why we're under that tornado warning. We see, again, the turning of the winds. That's still something we're really looking at. And as we mentioned earlier, this area has been hit multiple times. There's definitely debris that is out there. With the fast wind speeds, it could definitely pick up some of the damage from earlier. So it's very dangerous to be caught without shelter outside. So be careful, be inside, be in an area where you can take cover. Basement, interior room, lowest floor of your house, away from windows. Bathrooms are great. Closets, like we've mentioned earlier. Hallways are good too if there's no windows. So that's what we're looking at. Hail is possible with this system. That's what we're watching as well. Looks like Jackson said the tighter couplet, the one I showed you earlier, you know how I showed you the progression, it looks like the couplet has decreased according to the National Weather Service. They agree with that, but they're going to continue watching it just for a little bit longer as we're going into the next couple of minutes. And they also think that if this trend continues, I'll go ahead and show you the wind. They might be canceling it earlier. So as we mentioned, we're looking at that couplet earlier and seeing how it's been changing over time. And I'll go back just a little bit, and you can see right there, it's kind of more defined before it moves into our area. And then as it moves in, it kind of dissipates a little bit. So that's what they're talking about right now. And by the time it is like where it is right now, you kind of see a vague shape of a couplet, or again, as we were mentioning earlier, couplet is just that word for that inbound and that outbound winds, kind of showing the position of where rotation could take place. So that is why we're kind of see that. Also, you just saw that the purple that I was mentioning to you earlier, again, the radar, that kind of shifted upwards a little bit. That's because the National Weather Service in Jackson switched for their radar to scan faster. And so to do that, it kind of shortens the amount of the area that you can see. But this is so we can get more radar scans as we're going through the next couple of minutes to get more information on the system. So that is why it's a little bit faster. Don't see any other additions from the National Weather Service on the system, but I'm still going to keep my eye on it, especially since it's still tornado warned. We're still seeing fast wind speeds. And of course, lightning is still present in the system, as well as that heavy rainfall that we're tracking. And as I mentioned earlier, we've seen a lot of tornado warnings over this area. The damage, especially towards Wayne County, the more northern portions and central portions of Wayne County have been hit over and over again this morning. So they've had a lot of debris that is probably on the ground. So anything could be picked up really easily with those fast wind speeds. That's why we're keeping an eye out specifically with this system as we go through the next couple minutes. Again, it's been almost an all-day thing for Wayne County. They've been in a lot of tornado warnings this morning. That's why we're, again, keeping our eye really close on the system. But I will go ahead and just zoom out and go back to the radar. Again, position ourselves, let people know where we are, show what is and is not in a warning. And as you look at the entirety of that live pinpoint Doppler radar, we do see a little bit of higher rainfall totals as you are traveling towards the central portions of our region. Think about Jackson, so Breathitt County, Floyd County, as you're moving even into portions of Lawrence County sees a little bit of that rain, as well as you're traveling into West Virginia. But that is not warned rain. That is just heavy rainfall, not even seeing lightning as you move up more towards the north. Looks like it's, you know, just heavy rain is what we're looking at here. Looks like there is 3 lightning count with this system. But again, for the most part, we are looking at this system right here as we're going through the next couple minutes, as that is not only a very heavy precipitation system, but also, again, with fast winds, with slight circulation as you're moving more towards the central portions of Wayne County near Monticello. And I'll go ahead and switch back into the velocity again so you can see those wind speeds and see if we can get a better picture. Looks like Louisville might have a better picture of what we're seeing in terms of those wind speeds. You can kind of see just a little bit of a rotation here, but again, we're in that spot where a lot of those radar gaps are formed. So that's why, again, you're seeing that purple. That purple does not mean very fast wind speeds. That's just where the radar is having a little bit of an issue picking up any data past that point. So that's what we're watching there. And again, as we shift more downward, we'll see that we switch to the Morristown office. We switch a little bit more towards the north, and then we're looking at the Jackson radar. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of issues seeing over there. I'm going to try to move back to the Jackson one because you kind of see a little bit going on right here as well. So that's kind of where we're tracking. So if you're anywhere near Monticello, you need to be taking cover now. If you're anywhere in this tornado warning, you need to be taking cover now, getting to your spot. It does look like they took it down. They did decide to remove it, it would appear. Looks like, yeah, it looks like they did take that down. So as of right now, we have been cleared from all of our warnings, but as I mentioned earlier, we're still seeing very fast wind speeds, especially as you're traveling towards Wayne County. Even though we are not in a tornado warning anymore, does not mean those winds aren't fast, does not mean it cannot pick up that debris that it's already seen today. Again, we've seen many tornado warnings over this area in particular. So if you are in Wayne County, Pulaski County, McCreary County, and portions of Laurel County as well, be careful if you are heading outside. Those winds are still fast. There's still debris across the area. But I'll go ahead and just give a zoom out, look at everything else, see if there's anything else of note. But for the most part, it looks like we are in the clear in terms of those warnings. Not seeing any warnings around us either. Looks like all warnings in our region and in Kentucky have been cleared. We do see some flood warnings just south of us, but that again, that's not in our area. So before we go, I'll just go ahead and show what we're looking at in terms of some of our watches. Now earlier I showed this, our tornado watches have been expired, and as you go throughout most of the U.S., we've seen that they've expired as well. A lot of the systems are starting to die down as that sun is coming through, but again, we have more chances this afternoon for some storms, some chances for some severe storms tonight as well that we're looking at. So we're not out of the clear yet for your Thursday. I want to also talk about the flood hazards that we're looking at, because we do have not only that flood watch that we've been talking about, but we do have a couple flood advisories as well. Looks like we also picked up a flood warning more towards our north. So it's just really critical that if you are, out there, to be careful, be watchful for flooding, because we still have multiple days of rains ahead. And I'll go ahead and go into that timing as well on future view, but rains aren't stopping today. We have, again, more chance for rains this afternoon, tonight. Then we're going to see some chances of rain as you head into Friday afternoon, Friday night. And then you have more chances of rain as you head into Saturday morning, Saturday night, and Sunday. So a lot of chances of rain as we're going through the next couple days. So we're not out of the clear when it comes to flooding at all, as we have even more chances of rain as we go into the following days. So let's go ahead and go into that timing of what you can expect for the next couple days, and then I'll round up this coverage and we'll send you back to programming. But again, we're watching that system clear out today, this morning, and going into the early afternoon hours. By about 3 o'clock, most of it will be moved more towards the tip of our western counties, and then clearing out just a little bit before we have another chance this afternoon. And then as we go into the overnight hours, there you go. That's the line that we'll be watching as you're heading into about midnight, 1 o'clock. For, again, starting in our western counties, this will kind of be similar to what we saw this morning, as it starts in our western counties, is moving more towards the northeast, although we're starting to see a little shift in the wind, so this will move a little bit more towards the east as we're going into the afternoon hours. We'll take it a little bit slow as that moves through, and we will see some rain in our Virginia counties. I know for a lot of the system, Virginia has stayed dry, and even now some Virginia counties hasn't seen a single drop of rain. Should see some rain Friday morning, and then we'll have another round going in Friday morning, clearing out, and then again another round as you head into the afternoon, the overnight hours and into your Saturday. You saw that it kind of dissipated though before it got to us. So that's the hope, is that the one that's happening Friday night into Saturday completely dissipates, and then we have another chance of storms as you're heading into Friday night and into Sunday that we're tracking. So that will be this one. But this system, once it starts to come here, it's going to move a lot more towards the east as we're going through it and push its way through. And then we'll start to see that finally clear out as you're rounding out your Sunday going into your Monday. So there's a good wrap of the system. And that's what you can expect. I'll go ahead and give one final look at what we're looking at on that live pinpoint Doppler radar. But we have no more warnings in the area, just seeing some heavier rain as you're traveling towards Pulaski County as well as Breathitt County. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. I guess now we'll get you back to normal programming.